Hello, hello, Cancers. How are my Cancers today? This Libra full moon may be a lot if you're a Cancer today, because the Libra full moon is squaring Cancer placements, and then the Mars in Cancer is conjunct Cancer placements. And the Saturn in Pisces is trining Cancer placements. And the Saturn is high. And the Saturn is also trining the Mars Cancer. So depending where your Cancerian placements are, the full moon is literally just squaring my Mars to the exact degree. Hi, Anya. Hi, Nikki. And then the Mars in Cancer can just so Libra moon squaring my natal Mars, and then opposing my moon, and then the Cancer Mars is squaring my moon and loosely my Chiron. Hello, Renata. I love the strawberries. But then also the Cancer and Mars, the Mars in Cancer is conjunct my Sun, also trining Saturn, conjunct my nodes. There's just a ton of stuff going on. But Cancers even if you don't have all the stuff in Aries like I do, which is also getting hit right now because of the Cancer Mars, you're gonna get the Cancer Mars and you're gonna get the full moon right now. And Saturn. So, good times. This is to change us. This is to move us. And here's the thing about all the water signs. We, the Cancers, we're cardinal. We're made to move through challenges. Move through it. Move through it. I know we also have attachment issues sometimes, but move through this. I know it feels like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, which is what I'm calling this Libra moon. For me, it may not feel like that to everybody. For me, that's what it feels like, right? But for Cancers, if your placements are being affected, which means you have placements between, let's say, 21, 22 loosely degrees of Cancer and 10 degrees of Cancer, or if you have placements between 0 degrees of Cancer to 8 degrees of Cancer. So like the 9 degrees people, you're kind of going to be okay. But holy bazoli. Yeah, hey, holy Tabasco sauce. Again, I said it in the beginning of Pisces. Just for amusement, I listed all of the transits that are happening for me yesterday and today. It was crazy. Ceres conjunct my Pluto opposing Neptune, and on top of all the other stuff. So Cancer in 22 degrees, you're still just hitting that full moon. You're still just hitting that full moon energy, but not as directly. North Node Cancer. So the full moon can just end something that needs you to bring you to, needs to bring you to the place closer to your sweet spot in life, which is nice. And also the things that you're meant to learn in this lifetime. Okay. Hoodoo-wada, golly, what a day. Okay. You will have so many, peep points. That's what I'm going to call them from now on. Peep points from me if you know what I just sang and where it's from. And my daughter is not allowed to answer if she's on here. Yeah, what are your Cancer placements? Throw them out at me if you're here in the chat. Oodalani, golly, what a day. Oodalani, golly, what a day. I'm curious. No one but me. Only dork in the room. It happens. Got these big old cards here. I'll make sure I don't push the computer off the desk, but we need more room. Okay. Well, we're gonna like that. Okay, so Cancers. This is looking at the energy that dropped you off at the reading. This is also great if you have 4th house placements. Hi, Annika. So this is great if you have Cancer placements, 4th house placements. If you feel called, if for any reason you're watching this and it fits, it's for you. And if you have a ton of Cancer placements all in the 4th house and nothing fits, then it's not for you. Don't try to make anything fit or take on fear or anxiety or anything. You'll know. You'll just know what applies to you. Just use yourself like a human pendulum, and don't take on anything that isn't meant for you, especially if it worries you or throws you out of parasympathetic in your nervous system. Okay, so the first line that we're looking at, the line, there's 9 cards here. We're going to look at you and we're going to look at other. And other is whatever other energy is affecting you the most right now. Affecting your happiness, your wellness, your stress, whatever. You know what's in your energy. Then we're going to look at the alchemy between you and that other energy. Also, other energy, yes, it can be a romantic person. It could be a work situation. It could be whatever is vexing you or stressing you or making you super happy right now. But the other thing is that can be you. It can be the demons we struggle or snuggle with, stepping into a more healed version of you. Something you're, when I say struggling with, I mean, especially for Cancers, we can get to that place where we've had to go into warrior mode. Pincers up, crab shell on, because we are protecting that soft underbelly, because something happened and we can't be all nurturing and warm and, cookies out of the oven and hugs for everyone. And we get into that warrior mode. But during that warrior mode, we're supposed to look and examine and heal things for ourselves. So if we just use warrior mode as a protection shield to keep others out and we don't work on what we have to work on, it can end up being really cyclical, again and again and again, right? Same mistake, wearing a different pair of pants or a different skirt, whichever. Hi, Neela. And Renata. Yes, Moanne. Peep points. That is from Robin Hood. You get extra peep points if you tell me which version of Robin Hood it is. Welcome to my shenanigans. Boba straws. They're ginormous and they give you less wrinkles. So Cancer has Mars in its sign right now. Fighting for what you love, fighting yourself emotionally, moving into a place where you can be vulnerable again without being a victim. That's the thing, right? Like sometimes we regard vulnerability as a negative thing. But vulnerability is not necessarily a negative thing. It only feels negative when we feel hurt from however we made ourselves vulnerable. So moving into a place where we can be vulnerable without feeling that that's synonymous with victimship is huge. And I think it's what's on the menu for Cancer moving through September, honestly. But let's look, shall we? And things aren't going to be... Okay, so Mars in Cancer, obviously, then the Sun, the Mercury, Venus will all move through Cancer. However, they won't all be there at the same time. And the big things, hi Samantha and Sunny D, the big things are also going to be happening. We have 2 more eclipses. The nodes are going to move into Mars and Aries. The North Node is going to be moving into Aries, right? Or the nodes are going to be squaring Cancer. That is going to bring like indirect change. Venus is going to go retrograde. It's going to go into shadow at the end of June and come out of shadow around September 3rd. And won't go direct till September 4th, but it won't really feel like great maybe until like the 2nd week of September. But that is all kind of indirectly. That's in conjunct to Cancer's energy. So a lot of things are going to be going around... happening around Cancer energy, but not directly to as much. That North Node in Aries, that's your fellow shit starter friend. In cardinal energy, that's going to bring you places, right? I just feel a lot, and I want to say that to Cancer, my Cancer friends, my fellow Cancerians. I think we're going to see a lot of change, and a lot of it, there's going to be some disruption, but it's going to be like disruption next door. Will you feel it? Yes. Will it be as directly affecting you as all that Capricorn energy and Pluto? I mean, don't forget, Cancer, you just got Pluto off of the other side of your seesaw for the first time since 2008. I'm going to say that again, Cancer. Since the last time we were all together, this is the first time, hi Will, since 2008, you have had Pluto off the motherfucking seesaw. Like, that's a big deal. That's going to feel like a little bit of a release. Like Uranus hitting, aspecting any placements in your chart when Pluto's off of your seesaw is going to feel a little different. So, I can't wait to do this reading, but I feel a lot of moving into that being vulnerable without feeling like it's synonymous with victim. During the summer, from the eclipse in Scorpio in May to mid-September, right before we go into squaring Libra energy, I believe you're going to see a lot of people show their ass. I'm just going to say that how I would say that if it was just you and I on the phone talking to you as a friend. A lot of people, especially in the summertime, are going to show their asses. You're going to catch a glimmer of it. And then when fall hits, when September hits, you're really going to be able to see it. There's going to be a lot of release for Cancer as well. while the North Node is egging you on. Let's get into this reading now that I've taken up quite a bit of time talking about the changes that are palpable for Cancer coming up, and I'm here for them. I am here for them as somebody who loves this community, and I am here for them as a Cancerian herself. So today, while it might feel, or yesterday, or tomorrow, while it might feel like Mr. Toad's wild ride, that is the wave. That is the crest of the wave. And that wave is going to be taking you into release of victimship in order to feel at your most authentic, vulnerable self, because Cancer feels authentic when it's being nurturing and vulnerable and, right? We just protect it. That's why it's kept under the shell. But it would be nice if we felt like we did not. Hello, May. Oh, I hope you feel better. I hope you feel better, and I will send you some wellness vibes. Okay. We are starting off this reading with the energy that you are left being dropped off with. The King of Pentacles. Wisdom. Feeling far more stable. I am telling you, this makes sense to me because Pluto is off the seesaw for Cancer. So like feeling more steady, having less moments of like, this is really great. Oh no, what if that other thing happens again? This is really great. Will it last? Feeling like there's less Pluto energy. You're starting to, I love this community for instantly sending one of theirs, love and healing. Yeah, honestly, that King of Pentacles makes so much sense. And this is the Druid Craft Tarot. That is a very sage, it's a little battle worn, this King of Pentacles. But there's wisdom and there is relaxation. That is a relaxed stance. That is not a, I have to hold this. This is in posterity. This is in because if other people look at me, I want them to know that I'm good. I'm going to have my head like this so you know that I am an unbothered queen. I am unfuckwithable. That is all great, and sometimes we need that. But this, taking up space, knees not together. We all know what that looks like too. And that is the relaxed energy of wisdom and of like, I don't have to feel like a victim because what I have you can't take from me. The most important things that I have you cannot take from me. I have solidified them for myself. I know because they were forged in the fire of my cardinal activity, of my cardinal energy. On the other side of here, we have an Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Listen, Cancers, this could be the energy that you feel opposes you in this reading, right? But I really feel it's like the energy that you were struggling with, and then what we're going to see, and this makes total sense, like vulnerability and feeling completely wise and sage, which Cancer is so intuitive and wise and sage, and feeling like unstable because someone can come snatch that from you. And I think that's the energy that we're stepping out of. Three of Wands, always wondering which decision is going to lead you to success. But also this alchemy between these two energies was like waiting for your ship to come in, waiting for your ship to come in. You know, it's very interesting about Cancer energy because it's water, right? And it ebbs and it flows, and it's intuitive, but yet wanting to nurture everyone else so much that they, as intuitive because Cancer can be, they will sometimes ignore that intuition, because there's another thing going on that could help somebody else. They don't want to, you know, they want to be the, and part of the trauma response in Cancer is to be the thing that loves someone the way they couldn't be loved before. To be that hero of love for someone else can sometimes be a trauma response, B, the adult they absolutely needed that they didn't have when they were a child, so that then they go try to be that adult for somebody else. And lastly, you know, it can make them ignore their intuition. Hi, Johnny. So I think that's going to be part of the energy that comes in for Cancer, especially through the summer, of realizing how they can stand in their own sage wisdom, how they can, that's enough. They don't have to fix everything for everyone else. They can lead by example, and that helps fixes things just the way it is. Hi, Dolly. Like, just how you are is enough to lead by example. Cancer, the goal is, instead of to bring, you know, bring someone into the space to make them understand how much better it can be in that space, just creating the space for yourself, and then letting, often Cancer will create the space we think somebody else needs. And they do that out of love. They do that out of nurturing. They do that out of that maternal instinct to want to create warm environments for whatever somebody needs, right? Just the way we would parent different children different ways. I think Cancer is pretty decent at that. Not understanding that all the kids shouldn't be parented in the same parenting way. So when we see somebody or we meet somebody and we instantly have love for them, we go out of our way to create the space that we think that they need, the thing that was lacking. We will learn, find out, figure it out, and then create that space that we think that person needs. There is something comforting and wonderful and loving about the space around a Cancer. But what I'm saying is, create a space that is nurturing for you. Create the space that is warm and lovely that you want to be in. It's the way that we create the space in our own crab shells, in our own homes, in our own friendships, right? As we create that space for ourselves, then the right people will step into that space, instead of us trying to manipulate the space to be exactly what that other person needs, so we can be their love hero, so we can be their healing hero, so we can be their nurturing hero. Everything that they didn't have, so we can so clearly see it, whatever it is that they need, right? So we create it, and there's an attachment to the outcome of how this is going to fix them, and also that there will be gratitude that we can be their love hero the way we needed a love hero when we were little. Hi, Shauna. Yeah, there's no free list. Unless you see me doing free mini reads, there's no list, Johnny. Just doing Cancer today. So, this goal, this epiphany, this journey, I truly believe is on most Cancer's plates for your Cancer placements through the next 6 months. And again, there is that nurturing, warm environment that Cancer, Sun, Moons, Venus, even Mars, because it's protective, right? Mercury, Cancer, Jupiter, Cancer risings, all of that is created, that it brings in a lot of people that need it or want to take a hit off of it. But what you can't do, Cancers, I feel like, why are we having cards on the table today? What we can't do, Cancers, is when that person, for whatever reason, for whatever they're ready for and not ready for whatever other issues that we don't know about that they have, can't heal in that environment that we killed ourselves to create. The sustainability of it just doesn't work out the way that we really wanted it to, and that's attachment. We cannot go and blame ourselves or find ourselves, why am I so easy to walk away from? You will find a lot of Cancers asking themselves, why am I so easy after I give so much and I know I made a difference and I know I tried so hard? I looked at every deficit in your life and I figured out how to fill it. And then I'm so easily walked away from. It is not that you are so easily walked away from ever, Cancer. What it is that those people took a little hit off of your environment. The sustainability has nothing to do with you. The sustainability for them to grow and thrive in the environment that you worked so hard to create has nothing to do with you. That has to do with a million other factors in their life. You are not easy enough to, you created a temporary solution for somebody who's only ready for temporary solutions. I know that you see it as a permanent solution. But some people only can stick their toe in. And then maybe they have a fight or flight to, this is too good. This is not my life. Raise your hand if you're a Cancer and you ever went out of your way to like make a surprise or do something or make a moment or make a lunch or give somebody gifts or make sure you look nice while you're giving them gifts and feeding them. To create this ultimate nurturing experience where you're spoiling someone. And you've heard someone say, this is not my life. That's a red flag. That is not like, oh my God, I want this every day. When you hear someone say, this is not like my life, because you have spoiled them, it's because they're not in a place yet where they feel enough self-worth to accept what you are giving them all the time and feel like they are worthy of it. When you are spoiling somebody, Cancer, and they don't keep coming back for more, that is about where they are at and their healing and their worth and their shame. Because I'll tell you, the last thing anyone wants to do is hurt a Cancer that's been good to them. So instead they'll retreat because they don't know that they can be a person that can return all of that to someone. All of what a Cancer is bringing to the plate That's a lot. And you can be like, but I don't need the reciprocation of it. I just need to see them happy. If I make you food, I just want the yummy noises. I just want to know you enjoy it. I don't expect you to make a, 5-star meal for me. If I go out and buy you a bunch of gifts or take you on a surprise thing, I don't expect that back. I just want to know that you're getting enjoyment from your happiness is my happiness. But most people have been trained since childhood, if they don't completely return what's expected of them and they feel that as expectation, then they're a disappointment. They're wrong. They're bad. They're misbehaving. So Cancer constantly gives in hopes that it's going to heal, in hopes that it's going to nurture, in hopes that they're going to be able to fill the yawning chasm that somebody was attracted to them with. And mark my words, most of these people, when they first meet you, you are where have you been all of my life, because you feel like a breath of fresh air. They take a hit off of that Cancer energy, and it is a great temporary escape, everything. What if you sat back and did the least, and somebody was still there? I don't know very many Cancers that sit back and do the least, especially. Right? Givers, absolutely. I don't know many Cancers that sit back and do the least when they first encounter a person that they have any interest in a intellectual fashion, in a love fashion, a friendship, doesn't matter. If you create the space that feels conducive to you to be healthy and healing and love your life by yourself, I'm not saying you have to be by yourself, but that if there was no one else there, that you would still love your life, and you're not looking for that your hit of being that person's love hero, that nurture hero, that space hole filler hero. And you could still be okay. Create that life and the right people will step into it. Cancer, what I see coming up for you is the Death card in reverse. Something that you thought was off the table. Pisces got the same card in a different place, but it was in reverse. Something you thought was off the table is now very much back on the table. The energy is there. I have to address this. Shauna just said it's genuine love bombing, if there's such a thing. And I read that, and at first I misunderstood it, and then I got what she was saying. And I want to say that is part of why sometimes Cancers can feel like they got sucker punched, and why it's so important to not have attachment or expectation. I would say that's the PhD course of Cancer, because that love bombing that Cancer is doing is coming from a genuine place, and they intend to do it with you and for you until the day they fucking die. Where love bombing come from a lot of the other 11 can just literally be that moment. The honeymoon period. I'm not saying everybody does it in a disingenuine way, but if you love bomb a Cancer, they're like, yes, finally, someone who wants to play like I play. Someone who's going to make me feel the way I go out of my way to feel other people. But the love bombing part, we call it that. Sometimes it's out of narcissism, manipulation, ontology, all of that stuff. But if you give a Cancer love bombing, they're like, yes, every day from now until we wither and turn into dirt in the ground. Fuck yes. So as absolutely, I agree with you, Shauna. As absolutely as like, it's not temporary. If a Cancer is love bombing you, they intend on love bombing you until you both die. It makes them happy. But if somebody else loves bombs a Cancer and then that goes away, Cancer is so, they will then try to figure out what deficit are you experiencing that you were unable to give the love that you did in the beginning. They will try to figure out the deficit that makes you unable to sustain the love bombing, and then fix that for you so you can love bomb again because they really liked it. But funny, if you put a Cancer woman and a Cancer man together, it almost never works. It almost never works. Yeah. You're also, absolutely, what is the deficit? Did I do too much? Let me do too little. And then if a Cancer thinks it was because they did too much, you're doing too much. Also, if you're a Cancer and you've heard, sometimes you're just doing too much. Sometimes you're just a lot. Right? Raise your hands. I'd be more shocked if they're one that hasn't heard something along those lines their entire life. So we are trying to fix and look and see and fill the deficit for you, and then when we think, oh no, what if it's because I was doing too much? Because I've heard that before. So what if I was doing too much? So now I'm going to come back and be all collective and cool like I kind of was in the beginning when I still had my crab shell up. When I had my crab shell up, they couldn't get enough of me. And then once they said all the things that I needed to hear that they were going to appreciate about me, that makes me the most proud of being me, then I let them in and I gave them everything. So what I need to do is go back to when that crab shell was up and I was a tough cookie and they couldn't get enough. So you try to inauthentically retreat back to this like cool, apathetic, unaffected stance. Because it's not real. And people smell anything inauthentic because it's not what you want to do. You want them to want to skin you and wear you like a coat. I gotta tell you, I got a little one whose Venus is right on my moon. And the joke has been since he's like 6 months old that if he could skin me and wear me like a coat, that I wouldn't mind. And sometimes I have people be like, doesn't that make you crazy? All the clinginess? I'm like, no, I'm a Cancer. Like, skin me and wear me like a coat. I feel like I'm doing something right. So you cannot sit in the beginning, Cancers, when you were like cool and kind of like, you're not in yet, calm down, slow your roll. I'm not like that. I don't give it out to everyone. Hold back. That was genuine and they knew it. So they were pulling all the stops to court you. But once you're in and you have now given them your heart and you really want them to still skin you and wear you like a coat, and all of a sudden you're trying to act cool again, it does not play the same way. You can't go backwards like that because it's inauthentic. That trick doesn't work. Heads up. I really don't know why we bothered with cards today. It feels like a completely channeled reading for my Cancer community. But we're doing it. We're doing it. We're getting there. There is a sweet spot for Cancer, right? And also, because we've been love bombed and they've taken it back, there's a little bit of that sus thing that Scorpio also has going on. After a while, at a certain age, Cancer goes from wide-eyed and believing the best in everyone to sus as fuck, right? And so that at some point, we kind of like somebody who's pragmatic, because Cancer also likes safety. And we want somebody that's gonna like love us the way we want to be loved, but also in a steady, pragmatic way. As Cancers get older, that sweep you off your feet, you're like, my feet are right on the ground. Try me. There is no sweeping around the feet, in the vicinity of the feet. I know how that goes. You end up on your ass when somebody sweeps you off your feet. Sometimes they catch you, sometimes they don't. So it gets to be to the point after that's happened a couple of times where you go into sus as fuck mode. So as far as like, there is a point when you're younger that Cancer and Pisces are like peanut butter and jelly. But in my humble experience, I find that Cancers, after a certain amount of experience in love, if they didn't marry their childhood sweetheart and sail off into the sunset, and God bless those people, but after a while, it's like Pisces, which technically and astrologically they can be seen as a really great match. An older Cancer will, they'll gravitate towards more of a Scorpio energy than a Pisces energy, because we understand the Scorpio's suspicion and we doubt the Pisces sincerity, because to the level of our sincerity, most people seem, or in comparison, feel less sincere about what they really want to sustain. On your side and the current energy, we have Death in reverse. Wow, did this just like turn into like I could just bottle this up and make it like a Cancer episode of Cancer and relationships. Hi, Kate, on my channel. Maybe I should. All right, so there's an idea. Okay, so we have the Death card in reverse, meaning something coming back from the dead. Now, here's the interesting thing. A lot of other signs, here we go again. A lot of other signs might see like, oh, they're coming back. But Cancer is a ride or die, which means we rode it till it was dead, and now it is on do not resuscitate. A Cancer grieves a relation while they're still in it because they've tried everything to fill that hole, that deficit, to make it right, to fix it, to nurture it. So often, when we done, we done. Don't do reruns. Do not resuscitate. I rode it till it was dead. So when the Death card in reverse comes back, man, if that energy thought it had a tough time breaking through into Cancer the first time around before they got in, wait till they come back as a resurrection. Good luck. Because, like I said, that genuine like, not so fast, slow down, slow your roll. I don't just let anyone in. That's true. Right? And that was genuine. This is harder than that. But also, gosh, the heart wants what the heart wants. And if anyone understands that phrase, it's Cancer. The heart wants what the heart wants. I do believe that you might have a decision coming up. I know this is supposed to be for April, but I see this being a really just part of a chapter of a really long novel we're going to be reading from now until October. On the other side, we have the King of Cups. Unrequited energy in the beginning. I can't help but feel like Cancer, and I hate being this reader, something is coming back into your energy that was buried, done. Like you had finally just gave time of death. Fully emotionally. I think physically, pragmatically, in the 3D, situationally, it's been time of death for a minute or a year. Like, you know, when I say a minute, I don't actually mean a minute. I mean a long time. But I think energetically and emotionally, the healing has literally just been a minute. And now all of a sudden, now you're back from outer space. I feel like when you wanted this the most, it was like this to you. And now I feel like this other energy, this King of Cups, now wants to be that wise, Cancerian, emotionally mature energy to you. And now you are giving it the, I don't know, man. Woof, this reading. You know, I was a little drained before I did Cancer. And I was like, maybe I push it to another day. And then I was like, no, I'm going to do Cancer. And now I'm like completely energized. How can I not do Cancer with all the Cancer, squaring Cancer aspects of Mars and Cancer today? Well, let bygones be bygones. That's what's out your mouth. But guess what? I feel that. As a Cancer, I feel that. A lot of times we're like, we're done. I'm a ride or die. I wrote it till it was dead. It's on Do Not Resuscitate. Ba-bam. What comes out our mouth and how we glue back up that crab shell that we let somebody break through. Like the lamp on the Brady Bunch. That's what they're showing me. Or the vase. It was the vase, right? Yeah, because then it had a leak. So glued up pieces of your crab shell. Something leaked. We got an Ace of Wands. I don't think this is coming in until like May or June. But whew, Kundalini energy right to the sacral chakra. You cannot avoid this. Sorry. Cancers are cardinal. They are picky, albeit very sexual creatures. So you're feeling steady. And then something comes back to want to be resurrected. And then all of a sudden, ba-bam. Now, is this another person or is it an old person? We're going to clarify 5 hours later. I'm giving my Cancer speeches. You guys are the real MVP. Then we have grieving in the alchemy. 5 of Cups. Now, listen. The thing about the 5 of Cups is there's 3 knocked down. There's still 2. They are focusing on the 3 knocked down. There's always still 2 behind them in the upright. It's what you don't see, what you're not looking at. But it is necessary to process Feel all your feelings. You're pretty good at that. You're a fucking Cancer. Feel all of your feelings and grieve and let it go. Because those 3 cups can be like how you used to be attached, how you used to put somebody else's sustainability on your value and your disposability factor. We can let those go. Let that stuff spill. Process it. Feel it so you can move through it. But there's still 2, regardless, there's still 2 of Cups here. Someone, and I want to clarify, I may just clarify with the pendulum. I think it's going to be different for different people, but that's a 6 of Wands. That's victory. So you have the Ace of Wands and they have the 6 of Wands. So, I mean, that's pretty clear, yeah? I'm trying to think what I want to clarify this with. Normally, I would take like some kind of like feminine energy illustrated tarot. I think I'm just going to go for the Rider Waite. I love Gemini moons, but sometimes their childhood trauma response is to think their feelings, because in early childhood they had an adult, hey alien, they had an adult in their lives that taught them it was better to be intelligent than emotional. Whether that was because emotional people get hurt, or because, you know, better to be on top and thinking all the time. You have, you know, too much vulnerability. So they're usually, actually, Gemini moons are usually very quite emotionally vulnerable, beautiful souls that thinking their feelings thing, while I don't disagree with it, is usually there as a trauma response, again, because they had an adult very early in childhood who either said something to them or showed them. And for some people, it's like better to be a sly fox than, you know, the one that gets eaten by the fox. In some kind of early childhood trauma for Gemini moons, there was a parent that showed them how you get up and around in this world. And it's not by being a big, warm, mushy person. Hi, Charlie. All right, we need, okay. All right, as the very lovely Gemma from Gemstone Tarot, Itchy Nose, always says, when the major arcana comes out for your sign in your reading, that is always very powerful. And I think this is universe's way of letting us know that this is a big reading, and this goes a long time. This is not just like a monthly reading. Woof, itchy nose. Probably because I picked up the cat before. Clarifying this Ace of Wands. We have the Chariot. And we have the Ten of Wands. Also came up in Scorpio's reading. Time to put a burden down. Time to put a burden down. And there is movement. Ace of Wands and movement. This is universe trying to take you in a direction that you did not expect, and something you were carrying. It may, honestly, I feel like it's half and half Cancers for some of you. You're going to finally let down the burden of trying to fill somebody else's deficit. Hi, Maricela. Cancer, you're finally going to put down the burden of trying to fill someone else's deficit. And I think you've been doing that for a long time. And if you haven't been able to do it in person, you've been doing it energetically. We all have an energy budget. So how much of that budget have you allocated to this other person, even without reciprocation, holding hope, whatever it is? And when we release the holding hope for something, that doesn't mean we are dooming it to never happen. Universe will make it happen if it needs to. But it wasn't your job. It's still not your job. Right? So you're not supposed to still like donate a whole bunch of energy to something that isn't your it's universe's responsibility. It's their higher self's responsibility. It's their souls. You create the environment that's conducive to your health, and the right people will step in. What's interesting is this is my centennial commemoration Rider-Waite Tarot. So this obviously is not a new deck because the tarot is older than that. But when Pamela Coleman Smith did the original illustrations, there were 4 that didn't get in. Those 4 are now in this deck. So they don't really have an assignment. This card is the Bleeding Hearts card. Do you see all the robed figures? There is a coffin. There is an arch of some spiritual environment. Very Cancerian. It is time to give rest to the bleeding hearts. Your heart that has been bleeding, holding somebody else's bleeding heart. It is time. Because while we are ride or die, and now I wrote it till it was dead, and it's on do not resuscitate, that is in real life. I would be crazy to go back into a relationship with them just to have them do the hokey pokey relationship game with me that I hate, right? That doesn't mean that you are not carrying their broken heart. I carry your heart. I carry your heart in my heart. It is time to, with love, Marie Kondo, their issues, your old relationship, the attachment to that, the expectation that it would come back because that's what you deserve. Hi, Jody. And lay it to rest in a sacred place, because it is not yours to carry. It is time for movement. And this is coming in, you can't avoid it. Now on their side, the 6 of Wands, whoever they are, we're going to do a pendulum reading to see if this is the old person or this is a new. Also the 5 of Cups. So that 5 of Cups energy is real. Something they have to grieve. 10 of Swords. We have the 10 of Wands on one side and the 10 of Swords on the other. Pain they were carrying, they needed to put down. Their pain was not your job to carry, nor was it your job to heal. That's their job to heal. You creating an environment for yourself that also ends up being the environment that's conducive for them to empower their own healing, that is beautiful. We have the 10 of Pentacles, my favorite happy ending card, with the 6 of Wands. Not so shabby. This looks like 2 people doing the work, feeling the feelings, grieving the grief, letting go. There's 2 10s here. That is like the World card. That's very sweet, alien, that you could still connect like that. Love doesn't die. It just changes form. We have we have 3 tens here, which is really, really powerful. I told you this reading, yes, it's for April, but it's to put you on notice that 6 months from now, completely different. Completely different. Everything will be completely different in a good way. You're going to have to go through this first. This is going to have to be in contemplation. But this, love it. The Chariot, love it. Laying down your burdens, love it. Hi, Jacqueline. Cancers, as your Scorpio friend would say, buckle up, buttercups. I said that in the beginning of the Scorpio reading. I fucking love Scorpios because they let me be as dark, as sardonic in my humor, as twisted in my humor, and as not okay as I need to be. They know how to sit in the dark with you, and they also know how to say, buckle up, buttercup, because they get that Phoenix energy. While they're not cardinal, they get it. And Cancer, my Scorpio energy is telling you, buckle up, buttercup. Your cardinal energy can move through anything, including this Libra full moon, which is, I am nicknaming Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. But, oof. I am telling you, there's a lot of closure and a lot of understanding that the vulnerability isn't bad. It's just feeling like vulnerability is synonymous with victim. The minute you move out of that mindset, that's in here. Then the heart space can reopen. Because for a lot of you, it's probably been closed for a while. Added protection, right? It's time for it to reopen, but not in a way that makes you a victim. You're going to create that space and let somebody walk in, instead of creating that space for somebody so they walk in. You're going to create that space for yourself and let somebody walk in, instead of creating a space for somebody so that they walk in, expecting them to walk in, judging yourself if they don't. That is over. That is all getting healed. Oof. I'm excited for you. Cancers, I love you. Know you love you. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow night. Aquarius is Saturday. And then I'm not doing anything Sunday because a lot of people will be with family and whatnot. So taking a break Sunday. And I will see you all soon. Go get in the tub with a bunch of Epsom salt. All right. Bye.